Hey everyone, Kyle here. Well, Spiker, as you guys know me on the channel. So this is back to some old stuff on the channel. We're doing a review of the Infamous series. As you know, this is going to be a new thing on this channel called No Gameplay Review. Since I don't know how to edit yet, I'm trying my best to learn how to edit. Then I'm going to redo the reviews with editing in them. So this is basically a test to get me used to reviewing games. So we're reviewing all the Infamous games from what I've played so far. So I've played through one. I beat one on Evil. At the very end, I chose the choice to. Oh, spoiler! I chose the choice to get all the powers at the end of the game and become evil. Number two, I beat that game on both stories. Infamous Second Son. I beat that game 3 times actually. 4 times. I played through it 4 times. I beat it on both times. I really like that one. First Light, barely can make it through it. And Festival of Blood. Ooh, when we talk about that one, we're gonna talk about them in order. I didn't explain them in order, but kind of. I just didn't have Festival of Blood in order. So, let's start off with the first one. I think the story in the first one is pretty good. I think Zeke, as everyone says about Zeke in the first game, is he's very annoying. I know I'm kind of jumping from talking about the story to characters, but I think it's kind of important because he's, spoiler alert, is a very important character to the story because what he does, and there's not really a build up to him slowly becoming more mean towards Cole, or like not mean, but like more like untrustworthy. He just always seems a trustworthy guy. I really like Zeke in the first game, actually. I think in the second game he was too friendly. I think Zeke being more of like a kind of like a friendly douchebag was always an interesting idea for him being like the main friend dude. And another spoiler alert, Zeke, when he does get the Blast Core or whatever it was called, I'm sorry, I forgot. It's been a while since I played these games. I've been playing through them again for this review. So he tries to get powers himself. The Ray Sphere. Yeah, he tries to use the Ray Sphere to get powers for himself because he's jealous, I think, of his friend Cole McGray. Which I thought was kind of stupid. I think every time he's mentioned having powers himself, he's always mentioned, like, it would be cool if I had powers myself, but it's alright I don't. But it's never been like, man, I really want powers. I just want them, man. I just want them in my hands. I got a ball. I'm gonna. Oh, damn it, I didn't get powers. That's basically what happens. It's like he goes from like simply just talking about it to literally like becoming a supervillain without like not supervillain but like a douche. The main villain, I really don't remember the name. His name was very stupid in my opinion. His design's very good though. He's very mysterious looking. He has a robot arm. And he's very hard of a boss fight in the game. The main villain. I'm not gonna. That's the only thing I'm not gonna spoil is the name, I guess, of the main villain. It's told a lot in the game, but he's very important to the second game in a way. I'll explain that when we get to the second game. which is actually one of my favorites as well, like Second Son. And another thing about Infamous, the first one, is I always thought it was better, in my opinion, with from all the others because it had way more options with abilities, and it felt like you did way more with clearing out areas from like gang control, from the Reapers, the mechanics, I think, and I forgot the third one. So the Reapers are pussies, in my opinion. They're really stupidly weak. As I call them, the mechanics. They're really annoying to deal with. The third one, I remember if there was a third one, actually, they were very obnoxious. Like, very tedious, even with max powers. And another thing is, I really wish that after, like, you dealt with the Reaper Queen, as I also call her, she really didn't have a specific name, I don't think, actually. I think, like, I keep forgetting names, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna call this, like, an amateur review, because this is, like, very amateur. I'm very sorry about that, guys, but, like, this is probably not gonna convince anyone to play the games, it's just my opinion and me ranting about the games. But, like, my main opinion on the first game is it's very weirdly hard but easy but medium on any difficulty, in my opinion. Even though hard, it makes the Reapers slightly less of pussies, as I call them, when I'm fighting them. I literally, one time I was playing the game, and I screamed out, man, these guys are pussies. Because I was so done dealing with them. If you remember what that is on the wall, that's my sister's stickers. She put stickers on my wall. This is my new room. I just stayed the night here for a day, so I was like, perfect time to do this review. So, I guess another thing to mention about Infamous is the boss fights. I wouldn't even call them boss fights, really. I would just call them bigger enemies because they're mechanics. They just feel like bigger enemies sometimes. Like, the mechanics boss fight, it's a mechanic. You just knock trash off of him and then beat the shit out of him. Which becomes very easy if you max out your melee damage. Or any max out any type of damage. It just becomes very easy just to beat the boss. When I was younger, when I played the game years ago, when it first came out, I did not know this, and I got stuck on him, and I freaking got really pissed. My eyebrows itchy. Electricity. Karma down. But I guess it is time to move on to Infamous 2 because this is going to be a fast review. So, Infamous 2 is more story based, in my opinion. I feel like it's not as good because another thing I forgot to mention about Infamous 1 is, I'm sorry, I'm not saying it right. I'm having trouble pronouncing it. I have a bit of a speech impediment, but Infamous, there we are. 1 had these really nice comic book cutscenes, which led to an actual comic book. And later on in Infamous 2, there was a lot more animated cutscenes with the 3D models, which I actually really did not like, which was a main problem I had with Second Son. Just digging into Second Son already, I have a lot of problems with the game, but I really like it because of some mechanics in it. It had some for like the, I'm not gonna tell you guys yet, but we get to it. But the Infamous 2, you have a weapon, because I think it's more of a way to spice up the gameplay, to add like the triangle takedown thing. You're fighting a group of monsters and the militia, which I think the monsters were pretty cool. I know in some other reviews that people say the monsters are very basic, but I think it was a pretty cool idea. Because basically, the Reapers were basically monsters in psychological and technically physical, I think. It's kind of hard to explain what the Reapers were. Because they're constantly like, I don't even know what the Reapers exactly were. Like, they were human before, but then something happened and their faces were completely blacked out, and I don't even know if that was just them having the cloaks on, but they keep coughing up. Sounding like they're fucking dying all the time because of that black tar shit, that hallucinogenic stuff that's in the game. I'm sorry I keep going back to the first game, but the first game's so good that I have to compare it to the second game, which is kind of hard not to do because the second game has a lot of flaws, but I really like the second game a lot. But like another problem I have with the second game is um Cole's buddy has a lot more nice personality. I forgot his name through the video. I feel like an idiot. I'm so sorry, guys. My JoJo reviews were better than this. Zeke. Yeah, Zeke. He was way more mean in the other game and nice at the same time. He was a mixture of both. And I felt like that was a really nice idea for him. But then they made him like very overly nice because he's like, oh man, I twisted the race sphere. I tried to get superpowers. Oh man, I gotta be super nice now. I think that was why they made him nicer, more nicer and stuff. Like, it doesn't feel right playing the first game and playing the second game. Everyone's personality seems so different, especially Cole, because I think he actually had a different voice actor. Then we got the new chick. I forgot her name. She's very not important because she's just, spoiler alert, she gets like taken by like a gang that's in the game that gives her superpowers, and then you have to like, here's something I really don't like about the game. There is a lot of good powers that are classified, that are locked behind good and evil. We haven't even talked about the karma. So karma in these games locks superpowers. In the other game, it was just some like extra like big attack that fits what you were doing. Like, this helps you take enemies down in a nice way. This helps you fucking murder them. In this game, it was like, this helps you knock enemies down in a really big way. But it doesn't have that much range. And this is what I'm talking about with the second game. That's the second game. It's like, this helps you take down enemies in a lot big way, but not that big. On good. And on evil, boom, one dude has this weird tar stuff on it. Boom, goes to that guy. Boom, goes to that guy. Because it spreads like a virus. Very annoying that you have to basically choose with these missions as well, and it changes, at least it changes the story up a lot more. And the other game, it really felt like the story was the exact same for what you did, besides some cutscenes. Like when Cole said, in the first game, after you save the bus, I think there was a different cutscene, but he says, "I feel like a hero," because everyone's cheering for me. I feel like I think in the first game, if you did the evil thing, everyone's like booing at you, like, "Yeah, frick you, you killed us." I don't know why I said frick. I should have said, "Fuck you, you killed us. You killed us all." But I would have been okay with this mechanic in Infamous 2 if it was more like there was good versions and bad versions of both powers. Because then there would have been way more options of powers, and the game would have had technically more powers in it than the first game with both classes. I call them classes in my opinion because they're more elite classes. For the way it's dealt with and the story, it doesn't feel that different really. Besides, like, oh, my electricity's red, but in Infamous 2, it's more orange. That's like a really stupid criticism right there, but I actually think it looks cooler orange. I really like the orange electricity that you get in Infamous 2 when being evil. You get no electricity change when being nice in Infamous. It just looks bluer. So the classes in Infamous 2 are Ice and some weird tar stuff that's kind of like this hallucinogenic stuff from Infamous 1 from the Lei Hu Li to the Reapers. It's kind of like it, but it's not. It's more like flammable, I guess. I do not remember the chick who gives it to you, but I remember always going evil because how cool she looked. And I've never actually played through the good side of that game by my memory, I think. No, I did play through the good side. I just never really unlocked that many abilities because you had to do a lot of side quests. And around the time I played, the servers for the game were shut down, so I couldn't get that much XP. Oh, here we are. Here's my main criticism of the game. User created side quest. There was a level creator technically in the game where you could take areas and put enemies and stuff. And one of the games, which is one of my main problems with Festival of Blood, because the only way I can play it right now is on an emulator, and I still am trying to figure out how to get internet to work on the emulator. So we'll get to Festival of Blood in a second after Infamous 2. Infamous 2 story is about the Beast that you're told about in Infamous 1, which is a nice way of connecting the game. And so you did good in the last game or bad. Guess what the Beast does? He destroys the last city you were in, erasing all of the stuff you did. But hey, if you have a save data, you can continue from what you did. It's kind of pointless, but you can start off with good karma and nah. I always thought that was kind of pointless because like he destroyed the city. Like who cares if Cole was good or bad anymore, I guess. But when other cities hear about his massacre or his pretty niceness, I really haven't played through that much of Infamous 2 recently, so I'm gonna do an update talking about mainly Infamous 2 because this game needs a lot of beating up. And the user created stages, I'm gonna get back to that later because it's a massive problem. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to get that close. I was trying to adjust myself on the bed I'm sitting on. So, basically, you're trying to defeat the beast as there's these monsters and militia around. You're trying to clear out the militia, deal with the monster infestation. I just don't remember the name of the monsters. This is a very amateur review. I'm very sorry. I'm going to keep telling you guys this. Do not take this review as actual, like, helpful review. Jesus Christ, I'm not good at this. I'm not a Scott the Woz. I'm a Scott the Kyle. I'm a Kyle the Gloss. The gloss. The thing you use to cover up a wound. So, let's back away from Infamous 2, and we'll get back to user created stages when it comes up in Festival of Blood. So here's my favorite game, because there's no karma system, so there's not pointless stuff in it. You start off with pretty much all the abilities, but you're a vampire. Ooh, sounds pretty cool, right? Now, if like a game like Saints Row did this, people would be pissed, but you know how Saints Row people are, and I'm one of them. And yeah, I played all the Saints Row games. I like them all. This isn't a Saints Row review. I'm sorry. I was just saying. But Festival of Blood, it's very fun. So you get to go around as a vampire because Bloody Mary has been resurrected and you need to kill her again to become a human. You only have 8 hours. It's not timed, it's just through the missions. The hours drop as you play in the game. You can go around and do stuff because the game doesn't have like a counter, which would be stupid. But once you beat the game, then it sends you back to like do stuff without missions. And here is my main criticism, which is actually a criticism that people on PS3 now can have. Most of the collectibles and user stuff was online, from what I know, because when it asked to start up the internet on the game, it said there's no internet connection on my emulator, and then there was nothing on the map. And I remember playing on PlayStation Now, which obviously would have internet connection because it's not connected to PS3 servers, which, Jesus Christ, those things have been on and off constantly because I don't even freaking know what PlayStation's doing with PS3. They should just let it live. Most of the stages are user created, and those are mostly horrific most of the time, or created by developers, which the developer ones are the actual good ones because they know how to use the stage creator right. And the stage creator is not really that good because you use parts of the map and you have a limited amount of enemies. Actually, I don't think you did, so you could basically just set up someone to die constantly or crash their freaking PS3. Don't know why I looked over there. So, Festival of Blood, without internet, would barely have any content besides the collectibles that are already in the game, which I think there's like 2 from my memory, which are the Bloody Marys, history, and the blood vials. But there is a lot of fun things you can do that give you achievements and upgrades to your abilities and unlock abilities from doing shit. Which is like stake a specific amount of vampires. Oh yeah, you lost your weapon from Infamous 2. Oh yeah, you lose all your abilities in Infamous 2 and you gotta get them all back. Actually, let's go back to Infamous 2 for a second. I forgot some things. So, you lose all your abilities in Infamous 2 because you overexerted yourself trying to beat the beast. But there's new abilities you gain too. But the only thing that doesn't make sense to me is if you lose all your abilities from overexerting yourself on the beast, why do you still have all the movement stuff? Probably because I guess he used all of his attacking stuff. But the cool thing about Infamous 2 is it shows you how far the beast is every time you defeat a mission that's important. I mean, beat a mission, not defeat. I defeated the mission. So, Festival of Blood, back to that game. You have a stake, obviously, because, vampires need to be stabbed in the heart. And it looks very cool, actually. And Cole McGray, there we go, I said it right. It looks very awesome. And the whole game is basically being told as a story. Not a story, but like a recap from our good old friend Zeke to a lady at a bar. Spoiler warning, very massive spoiler warning, is actually Bloody Mary. Because apparently, I don't remember how this worked, but it just like cuts from that, and then the lady reveals herself to be a vampire and then starts chasing her. But throughout the entire game, you're looking for this cross that is very powerful, and it can destroy pretty much any vampire, including Bloody Mary. It was used to defeat her. Because you have to destroy the original vampire that bit you to become human again on the first night of being a vampire. There's no morality system because basically just like Cole McGray is pretty much in a gray area. He thinks that because he has to sacrifice a few people to get rid of Bloody Mary to save everyone. So it's in a moral gray area. I'm gonna keep making that joke. After this, we're talking about the other side game before we talk about freaking anything. Because freaking Infamous Second Son's my favorite. I barely remember anything about those two, just letting you know. It's been a while since I played Infamous Second Son and First Light. First Light, I like barely remember anything about. So when we get to that, I'm probably gonna like barely talk about it. No one talks about it. So, Festival of Blood, the main thing I like about it is the blood sucking mechanic because now you can turn into a fleet of bats to fly around like actual flying, not gliding with the gliding thing with the electricity. Oh shit, I'm out of electricity. Electricity. And after all of that, you go around trying to find vampires, which is another collectible thing to get an upgrade. There's like, you can also like see a hidden world apparently, which allows you to see who's a vampire sometimes and who's not. And also, you have to stake the enemies. Like, you cannot just leave them on the floor. Like, sometimes when you defeat them, they will stay down, but you have to stake them to actually get, like, XP or anything. There's no, like, power leveling up. You have to, like, do things around the world to get, like, any type of upgrades. So you have to learn what to do sometimes. It's very not tedious, actually. It actually feels fun and it makes you want to do more stuff in the game. Surprisingly, it's not tedious, like at all. And then you have to find these blood vials to increase. You know how I mentioned how you have to suck people's blood in the game? So, when you turn into a flock of bats, you lose blood energy. So, these blood vials, if you collect enough of them, they're basically blast cores, but I mean blast charge. And when you get enough of them, you get more blood energy. And the meter goes like all the way around a circle. And when you get enough of that, you can fly around for pretty much like a whole 3 minutes, I think. I don't really know. I've never collected them all before because they're really hard to find sometimes. Harder to find than blast cores because those things are all over the fucking place. And another thing to mention about the game is it's very short. It's a game that you can literally beat in a day, but I recommend you savor it and try to get everything in the game because if you play the game, it's really worth it. But if you're going to emulate it, I really do not recommend emulating it because legality and also RCPC 3 has still not fixed the infamous games. They still have in-game problems, which I've been dealing with a bit, even though I own all the games and I've been playing them mainly on PS3 and PlayStation Now, which is just the main way I've been playing the games. I keep stuttering, I'm sorry guys. And one of my favorite games is coming up on this list, which is a game I mainly play on PS4, obviously, because it's only on PS4 and PS5, which I did not own a PS5, so I can't play it on PS5. So let's get to... Oh wait, we have to talk about the fucking First Light game. Because it's technically a prequel, so we have to talk about it first. Alright, so First Light. You play as Fetch with neon abilities, a scientifical element. This will make sense later on when we talk about Second Son. This game is a prequel story about Fetch, about how she accidentally, spoiler warning, killed her brother. Well, actually, this is after that. And this is her quest to kill drug dealers. There's a tagging system, but my only problem with it is that there's not like you cannot do custom tags. You have to do the tags the game tells you to do, which is kind of boring. Really stupid criticism, I know. But it's really cool looking when you do the tags because you're using like the neon lasers to tag it into the walls and stuff. This tagging system will make sense when we get to Second Son. Alright. Yeah, that's all I can remember about First Light. Sorry. Oh yeah, and her brother's name was Brent. And like Fetch was like a drug addict and apparently I'll explain her story when we get to Second Son. So Second Son, when I was really young when the game came out, I was like not that young actually. I think I was like I don't remember when the game came out, but I wasn't 15 obviously, but like I was alive when the game like first came out and when I played Second Son, I thought the name was implying he was Cole's son, not that he was the baby brother of someone else. So my first playthrough of the game, I was like, "Where's Cole? Where is he? Where's the funny shock man? Did he die as a vampire? Oh wait, he survived as a vampire, but he didn't. Well, he became after he became no longer vampire, but yeah. So Second Son, you're playing as a baby brother of a cop, which I forgot his name. He's very not important actually. But he's basically the nagging dude of the game. He's just like is very annoying. And in this world, powers have just went all over the place. I don't know if it's connected to the universe of the original Infamous franchise, but apparently, like, powers are, like, very common. Well, not very common, but, like, anyone with powers have been called bioterrorist in this universe. And if you have them, you go to this place called Curtain K. And our main protagonist, unknowingly, is a conduit, as I think something used in Infamous, a name. And the thing is, with him, he can absorb abilities. And also in this game, there's a graffiti thing that you can do. Yet again, you can't do custom things. You have to do what the game tells you to do. You have to hold the controller all weird and shake it and spray it. I found a way around it. You just hold it like this and turn it and then turn it back up and then just use it normally. Doesn't feel right though. It feels kind of cool holding it like a spray can. Can't wait to see how that works on PS4 emulation. That would be freaking weird. Because if you're like using an Xbox controller, you're fucked. So, yeah. He runs into this dude with smoke abilities. So basically, this game goes by elements. Heavy rotate, quotation marks. Heavy rotate, thingies. I'm having trouble saying the name of them today. Don't know why. I woke up like a few minutes ago. I'm gonna call this like very tired review. So let's do this. Alright, so we start off with the game with doing the spray paint thing to introduce the mechanic. And there's like this government thing going around, and Augustine is the name of the main villain. She's like very, very powerful with concrete abilities. We'll get to why I don't like something about her abilities later on. But she's sadistic of a villain in the game. She's like a generic villain. She's a generic evil like government villain. And the whole thing about this game is everyone's scared of the people with the powers because their government thing going around taking over, telling everyone that they're evil, every single one of them, has drove everyone insane about what they do. And also another thing is the morality system in this game sucks ass. It's too damn easy to get like almost max morality. I think I actually already have it, and I just started the game, and I'm already on like Fetch's second mission, which shouldn't be possible because in the other games it took a while to get up to max morality, which is kind of funny. So the smoke ability is very good actually. It's kind of better than the electricity ability. Only problem is like in Infamous 2, you lose a lot of like power when shooting for some reason, but that wasn't a problem in the first Infamous. I don't know why they added that. It doesn't make sense in my opinion. With smoke, it kind of makes sense. Not really, actually, because like wouldn't you be able to to absorb a bit of smoke as it's going and then have it shoot like so you wouldn't lose any? Like it's kind of stupid that like in these games that you have like characters with these strong abilities and they can't just shoot their abilities and stuff. It's really stupid. So in this game, there's four different abilities. Actually, hold on, let me count them. So there is Neon from First Light, which didn't come before, but it's just there. Fetch obviously gives you the ability. Then there is Video. I don't remember the name of the dude who gives you Video, but he's a nerd. He's a fucking nerd. But he's actually pretty cool. He gives you like angels and demons and like video game like abilities. And then there's Concrete. And there's Smoke, obviously. So there is four. There's Paper? Oh wait. They shut down the freaking website. So there's only four. There used to be five. Technically. I think Paper was only a dash. But if you have a save data that has the paper thing on it, I think you're like have a pretty rare save data. Because I think Paper actually did give you like a special dash thing that was like a run. My nose is like clogged up right now. That's why I sound so weird right now. So, and Concrete, actually, let me rate all the abilities. Smoke, it's pretty good. It's like a pretty good starting ability. It can become very strong. Only problem is, you remember how there was that ultimate in Infamous when you like electricity down? So there's ultimates in Second Son, and the worst one ever is Smokes, because it barely does anything. It's just surprising. You expect your first ability to have probably like slightly better ultimate because it's supposed to demonstrate how the ultimates work. But the best ultimate, I have to say, is Neon's. And Neon is one of the best abilities because how many neon signs there are. Way more than there is smoke around. Like sometimes in fights when I'm using smoke because I just want to like play around with the smoke ability, I have to blow up a car, which takes a while, but I'm already low on smoke, so I can't do that. So I have to whack it with the chain. Oh, you also have a weapon in this game. It's a chain. It's like long range attacks, so the game's more distance based fighting. So then I get damage from the car and die, which is more my fault actually. And then there's Video, which is very OP, but the ultimate's like kind of weak actually on both sides. Sometimes the ultimate like is slightly different depending on like what karma thing you do. Mainly just like what type of stuff it does. Like, does it like subdue the enemies or does it fucking kill them? Then Concrete. I don't think Concrete actually had an ultimate. But Concrete, it sucked so much. Like when Augustine was using it in the game throughout the entire story, it showed her like being so powerful, and I was like, oh man, when I get that ability, it's gonna be so good. But when I got it, it was the worst ability in the entire game. Like, oh my god. It was worse than the freaking ice in Infamous 2, and that's saying something. So the endings also suck. Spoiler alert. You either get accepted by the old lady, Betty, after she heals, or you fucking murder her. Depending on your karma. I wish there was an in-between karma system. Like you could do a mixture of both. Like moral gray area thing. Like an infamous Festival of Blood. Like you can like choose on the option thing. Like, do you want to do the morality system, or do you want to play the game with a special ending when you do not have a morality system? Which I think would be pretty cool because then people wouldn't have to play the game so much. If you like, what I mean by that is like, if you've played the game once and you're already done with it and you don't want to play it again to see the other ending, like you don't have to, but like it feels like you have to because like, oh man, what if the other ending's like cooler, or I get a really cool ability that makes the game easier and I can do all the side quests and shit like that. Which is how I felt every time with the Infamous games. And it just feels so tedious. Also, Infamous 2's graphics, we're getting to graphics now. Not like overall game. We're getting like graphics for each game. Infamous 1, it's really good for PlayStation 1. I mean PlayStation 3. Sorry, earlier today I was talking about PlayStation 1 games. But PlayStation 3, it's really fucking good for PlayStation 3. Even though it has the muddy PlayStation 3 game stuff. Infamous 2, even fucking better. Like, super good. Infamous Festival of Blood. Oh my god. It's so much of an upgrade from Infamous 2. It's by like 3%. Almost got you there. Also, I know people are gonna. If anyone comments on this video, I know people are gonna comment. Like, why did you say PlayStation 1? Cause this is just me rambling. I'm gonna comment. I'm gonna freaking call this video me rambling about the Infamous series, making a lot of mistakes talking about the games. Perfect title, actually. That's what's gonna be called. Alright, so another thing is Infamous First Light. Beautiful graphics. Yeah, it's on PS4, so what did you really expect? It was supposed to be like a showcase of the game. Abilities to run on a PS4. A lot of particle effects and stuff. Infamous Second Son actually better looking than First Light, even though they came out like Second Son, First Light. Also, remember what I said about the cutscenes? So, the comic cutscene thing was in Infamous 1 and 2, kind of 2, kind of Festival of Blood. Actually, mainly Festival of Blood had a lot of them. But, Infamous Second Son and First Light. I think First Light had more than Second Son did. But Second Son, when you get your abilities after beating the boss fights, which obviously the boss fights are the people you get the abilities from, because like they ain't willingly gonna let you just grab their hand, like give me your fucking powers. Like he doesn't take them from them, but like they still have them. But like in Second Son, after you get their abilities, you see their memories, and it's in the comic book style of the cutscenes that are in comic book style. That made no sense what I just said. So yeah. So that's my only main problem with Second Son, besides horrible freaking story, horrible abilities most of the time, and really stretching the idea of elements. I just burped. Sorry. First Light, I fucking hate First Light. Festival of Blood, love it. Second, Infamous game, Infamous 2, I like it a lot actually. Infamous 1, I fucking love it. The story's great. Character developments need some work. That's what second game did. Infamous 2 did a really good job on character development, besides with not Fetch, goddammit. Zeke. Zeke had really good character development. In a weird way, not at the same time. As I've already mentioned, I hate how he's just a nice guy now. Because I missed him kind of being a douchebag and being a nice guy at the same time in a mixture. Just because he's like, I'm sorry, I tried to get superpowers. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Here's weapon. Take weapon. We're friends again. I'm so sorry. I took the Ray Sphere. That's basically the entirety of his personality in the second game, and I fucking hate it. The new girl in the game, her character development's great. She's like disgusted that she has superpowers, like our good old man Cole, Mr. Bald. I'm not bald, I look like Shaggy. But it gives a good character development how people feel about people with powers sometimes. And then, like, First Light's story is very boring if you haven't played Second Son. Then the story is kind of good. Second Son's story, I already mentioned that, don't like it. So all the games are go from good to really good with Festival of Blood to what the fuck with Infamous Second Son and First Light. So that's my rating. I give this franchise a broken marriage out of 10. I'm just kidding. I give this franchise a decent like 9. No, not 9. I'm not gonna actually rate it. I'm not gonna rating games. So I'm just gonna just say rate it yourself. It's not my like. This is my opinion, and I'm not even that good at reviewing games, as you've seen from this video. So it's just rate the game your fucking self. I don't really like. I'm sorry if I'm coming off rude, but like, decide yourself. Don't like base off like your opinion on games on reviews. Like that's what happened with the new Saints Row game. Now everyone's like obsessed with it. Like I was. Like I was like, man, this game looks horrible. The new Saints Row that's coming out, and then people started seeing all the new stuff, and the people are now loving on it. Also, we need a new Infamous game for PS5. In my opinion, if we get a new Infamous game, I would love to see Cole McGray return, or Electricity just in general, with like Smoke and the other abilities, like a game with like a lot of abilities, or a custom character. Hmm. Custom character with multiple ability options. Like, probably like 5 ability options. And like, I don't know. They'll probably find a way of like adding DLC ones. Because it's PlayStation that owns the franchise now, not Sucker Punch. At least Sucker Punch still owns the franchise. this PlayStation mainly publishes this now, so it's never gonna escape PlayStation's grasp. Next up on the list is Prototype, which I actually played a lot more. So, and also Platinumed. So, well, I Platinumed the second one, not the first one. So the only review we're gonna do on that one's the second one because I haven't beat the first one. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you did watch this, and leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below if what I need to improve on these reviews. Like, most likely, I know I need to do more research. See you guys next time. And let me know if I need to add more comedy to these videos because, like, this was kind of boring. Like, more boring than the JoJo review I did in a bullet alley. So, yeah, see you guys.